Hello, welcome back to Coleman Travels. Today we're at Fort Dobbs. Last time we were here, they were still building it, but this time it's finished. Since Sunday is Veterans Day, they're doing this thing where this side of the park is Fort Dobbs' time, the military in the time of Fort Dobbs, and over there is modern military. Let's check it out.
While they were passing through Virginia on their way home, about 40 warriors were murdered by Virginia civilians because they supposedly butchered a cow. They were murdered in cold blood, and then a couple days later they hunted down three war captains and hung their body parts up on the side of the road, which this led to a cascade of events that ultimately led to war. And Fort Dobbs was attacked at one time. The Cherokee, while they're armed with guns, they knew that they wouldn't be able to take a fort because they don't have artillery. Right. So they tried to lure the soldiers out of the fort. Hugh Waddell, the commanding officer of the post, wrote a letter to the governor saying, on the 27th of February of 1760, about 8 to 9 p.m. at night, dogs started barking, and the dogs were barking in that direction. And he said, we marched not 300 yards towards the spring.
Slightly broken, and it has a set of blades that are covered. And actually they would have two sets, but I only have one exposed. Now, when you cock it back, it's spring-loaded. Then you put it on the patient, and then this is the trigger. Now I want to show you how fast this blade works. You won't be able to see it unless you're real good. Count 3. 1, 2, 3.
I didn't see it.
No, you won't.
Did you see it?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you do it again.
I bet you felt it though.
Oh, yes. They had no idea as to cause and effect of disease. They basically treated symptoms.
Sure.
And again, we're not too dissimilar from that. If you go home and look in your medicine cabinet, most of the stuff in there is for treating symptoms, not cause and effect of disease. So what these doctors were trying to do is figure out why you were sick. And what they would do is a process of elimination. They bring you into the hospital, they make you throw up, they make you go to the bathroom, they bleed you, they make you sweat, they put blisters on your body. Anything to bring stuff out of the body and try to bring the body back. And you'll see that throughout the history of medicine. They always talk about the balance. In my time period, the 1750s, they would talk about the humors. You must be, you're in a bad humor. That means you're sick. The Chinese talk about yin and yang, the balance of the body. And that's what these doctors are trying to do, is restore the balance of the body. Now, we sit, again, 21st century, we sit there, oh man, they made them go to the bathroom? Look at some of the food they're eating. Bad idea.
Yeah.
Make them throw up, get rid of that stuff.
Hello.
How long would you live in this stuff?
Well, it's called a winter hut. So typically, when you're going to be a soldier, you're going to have a fighting season from probably early spring until late fall. But then when it's too cold to like really move and do anything, you're going to maybe erect little cabins like this real quick to live in. Maybe live in a tent, but if you've got the chance, you guys are going to wind up sort of camping, living in cabins like this. So maybe, 4 months out of the year, you might be doing that. And then while we're living in there, we're going to be practicing drill, still going to have to stand guard, still going to have to do normal British soldier stuff. So.
Is not a good thing to use. This is not what anyone wants to be displayed on the battlefield. These are terrifying. These are weapons of terror. The goal of this is to make the other guy run away. That is always the goal with the bayonet. Nobody wants to fight with them.
But the big difference besides that is, of course, the effective range of this is like 30 feet. Okay. Because it's basically an 18th century shotgun. Yeah. Because if you're down to this point, that means you're in a world of hurt. Because your first line of defense is run away, the speed of your ship. Second line of defense is cannons. This means that we're being boarded.
Ah,
right.
Sure.
So the fact it only works about 30 feet, well, that covers like half the ship. So
Yeah.
you're good. And in a lot of times in the movies, you'll see them put. When you're working, every half hour you have to take your direction and your speed. Okay. This is my speedometer. It's called a chip log. This is your chip, and this is the log. Looks like a kite, right? So you take the chip, you throw that overboard, and as the ship sails away, the rope comes out. And this ribbon is tied about 50 feet in, and that's just so the action of the ship sailing away is what's pulling that. Because if you have to throw that in a current, right, the current just takes off. It's going to mess with your measurement. Then when the ribbon comes out, you take your small 28-second sand timer, and you count the number of knots that come out, and that's your speed in knots. Literally, that's where it comes from. Yep, speed in knots actually comes from literal knots. Even though today we know, like you said, it's nautical miles an hour, it actually comes from knots. And so. They're doing what's called worming the piece. They have a stick that has a metal worm on the end, and they're going to throw that down the barrel and twist it to make sure that there is no remains of a previous cartridge in there, so you can eliminate the chance of accidentally setting off another charge. Now they're probably advancing the cartridge. That means they're taking the ammunition and presenting it. They're going to be presenting it to the barrel of the gun. Yep, there goes the ammunition charge. Now he's going to produce a ramrod, and that ramrod's going to be used to seat that charge all the way down to the breech of the gun. At this point, they're taking an iron rod and poking a hole through the vent to open up a hole in that charge that's in the back of the breech of the gun, so that they can then pour black powder on top of that. When they go to fire, you guys are probably going to want to put your fingers over your ears, because it will be loud. I would cover your ears now. Pan, trapping all the powder inside the pan. And I'm going to load the remainder of the cartridge down the muzzle of the gun. Now, much like with the cannon, I'm using a ramrod to ram the charge down to the seat of the back breech of the gun. And the gun is ready to fire. Folks, this will be a lot louder. I promise. Now, to help absorb the recoil, of course, this gun is incredibly heavy, so I can't hold it like this myself. So it has to be on a stand. This would be mounted on the walls of a fort, or sometimes on a small carriage. Now, I'm cocking the gun and getting ready to fire. Is everybody ready? And I'm going to wait for the cars to go by. Firing!
Looks really cool. It's like the one Smokey the Bear wears. We want to go over wearing that one. Our British and French allies say you could, but there's a lot of rocks flying around. You get hit in the head with a rock, it hurts. So this one, you can see how heavy or light it is not rated for a rifle round. A rifle round will pass clear through it. It is 90% steel, 10% manganese. It will stop a handgun bullet beyond 10 yards. Anything closer, it's going through.
Because I've not put the director back in. Yeah, No, just because it's right. But you gotta have this up, remember, because the director goes. Yeah, I got it.
Which is lunch. And then supper, which is dinner. Okay.
Right.
For breakfast, we have crackers and biscuits, coffee, sugar, and a fruit bar.
Oh.
Okay. And then a tin can, and this would have chopped ham and eggs or processed American cheese, and a can opener. Take the point of the can opener, and you work all the way around. We eat our food. 1 stick of gum.
You have good breath.
Yeah, good breath, and then to get bad breath again, 4 cigarettes. 4 cigarettes. And matches. 1 self-contained meal. So what this is 1 day. If there's an emergency and you can't get any of these rations, you would also carry ration D, which is the emergency ration. Will you pull that out and tell me what's inside? What is it?
Assembling.
Yes. That's chocolate. That's 600 calories. That's 1 meal. So 1,800 calories for a day. You carry 3 of these. And this is an emergency ration, so this is something that you eat only as a last resort. So if you were given a big bar of chocolate, would you be able to wait and only eat it as the last thing, or would you want to eat it first?
I'd have
So
to.
you did have different ones that were doing small arms and technicians.
Guilty.
I've had a lot of kids try and say, "Oh, I would wait." I would say, "No." I would want to eat chocolate first.
Well, you wouldn't want to have to carry it around extra weight, right?
That's right. Well, sure. Yeah, of
Practical.
course. Yeah, you hate to carry on extra weight.
All they do is push on the button right there to talk. Okay, and it's like just talking on the telephone. It only had a range of about 2 to 3 miles. So
That was U.S. military history, war by war, at Fort Dobbs in Statesville, North Carolina. See you next time, Corn Travels. Bye.